There are a couple of questions I like to ask students before we start teaching. One of them is, how can we help your golf? What would you like me to actually help you with today? And then the next one is, once we have a little bit of chat, is how they actually feel the club's interacting with the golf ball at the moment. At the moment we're out in Cyprus at the Aphrodite Hills resort, and three of the women we're working with this week were complaining about iron shots and fairway woods, rescue clubs, that sort of thing. Complaints where ball strikes tended to be ground before golf ball on occasion, or top of the golf ball. Now, the question asked was, how do they believe the club should interact with the ball on the ground? What were they trying to do? And every single one of them was under the impression that as the club comes downwards in towards its lowest point of the swing, it should then reach its lowest point and go upwards, and on that upward stroke was when they thought that the golf ball should be struck. Now, if they then made contact with the ground, they would strike ground before ball and then up into the ball, or if they just missed the ground and went upwards, they then strike top. So both results really were the same fault essentially, and a lot of it was just from the perception. So once we had a discussion about that it should be slightly downward blow, they changed the movement a little bit, and this exercise here is one that can help you too. So we put a couple of tee pegs in the ground, asked them to set up with the club between them, and from there, could they brush the ground at some point after those two tee pegs? Now, we don't want massively steep descending blow, but there should be some descent into the golf ball, even with the fairway woods. Driver's a little different, it's teed up, so you should ideally go down slightly underneath the golf ball level, then ascend and go upwards through impact, and that would be the best for length. But certainly for ball striking off the ground, fairway woods, rescue clubs and irons, there has to be some descent. So we then moved golf ball into the mix, and the success of or not of the shot was always based on were they able to make contact with the ground somewhat after the tee peg or somewhat after the golf ball. So the ball was struck. We have a little look at the evidence here, and we can see the tee marks here. The divot starts definitely somewhere beyond those ones. Now, there's no difference with the fairway wood, as I said, or rescue clubs, but the movement was one that was an eye-opener to me. All the girls were backswing, moving over away onto the right-hand side, staying there. Club was reaching its lowest point here and then upwards. But when we gave them this different task, the body was a little more centred in the backswing, then they started shifting towards the target in the downswing and struck the ground. So their movement was shifting because their perception was shifting, and the task I gave them had shifted. They weren't thinking about the technical aspects. Just by completing a different task, their movement has changed. And that's the beauty of it. You don't necessarily have to be majorly technical in thought to make a technical change. Sometimes a little shift in perception and task are all it takes. So if you struggle with your fairway woods, your rescue clubs and your irons from the ground, give this little exercise a try and see if you can make some sort of gentle contact, little disturbance of the ground somewhat after those tees. Give it a go, and I'm sure it'll give you improvement in your ball striking.